Sup y'all, and welcome to Regional and Interregional Interactions, Part 5. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a snide remark and bring this whole unit to a close. A deepening and widening of networks of human interaction within and across regions contributed to cultural, technological, and biological diffusion within and between various societies. Existing trade routes, including the Silk Roads, the Mediterranean Sea, the Trans-Saharan routes, and the Indian Ocean Basin, flourished and promoted the growth of powerful new trading cities, such as Timbuktu, Constantinople, and Baghdad. Regional trade routes developed in the Americas, across the Mississippi River, Mesoamerica, and the Andes. But no long-distance interregional trade routes emerged as in Eurasia and Africa. Improved transportation technologies led to an increased volume of trade and expanded the geographical range of existing and newly active trade networks. Saddles, invented in the 7th century BCE by nomadic horsemen, and stirrups, invented in India prior to the 2nd century BCE, diffused throughout Eurasia across the Silk Roads, making transportation faster and easier. Also, from the old-style yokes that were ideal for oxen, the horse collar was innovated in China in the 5th century CE and also diffused throughout Eurasia. Most merchants traveled in caravans, and especially around Persia, they could often stay at caravanserai to rest and resupply. The spread of crops, including rice and cotton from South Asia to the Middle East, encouraged changes in farming and irrigation techniques, with innovations such as the shaduf, noria, sakya, and the khanat system. The growth of interregional trade in luxury goods was encouraged by significant innovations in previously existing transportation and commercial technologies, including the compass, astrolabe, sternpost rudder, and lateen sail. All of these led to better sea travel through larger ship designs such as the Chinese junks. The expansion and intensification of long-distance trade routes often depended on environmental knowledge and technological adaptations to their environment, such as the way Scandinavian Vikings used their longships to travel in coastal and open waters, as well as in rivers and estuaries, ultimately leading into the Americas. And also the way the Arabs and Berbers adapted camels to travel across and around the Sahara, establishing the sand roads. Cross-cultural exchanges were fostered by the intensification of existing or the creation of new networks of trade and communication. Islam, based on the revelations of the Prophet Muhammad, developed around Mecca in the Arabian Peninsula. The beliefs and practices of Islam rejected interactions among Jews, Christians, and Zoroastrians with the local Arabian peoples. Muslim rule expanded to many parts of Afro-Eurasia due to military expansion, such as in India and Anatolia, where Sufis played a key role in spreading their faith. Islam subsequently expanded through the activities of merchants and missionaries in the Swahili states, into West Africa, and across the Indian Ocean into regions such as Srivijaya in modern-day Indonesia. The Indian Ocean Basin was also a conduit for the diffusion of other religions, for instance Hinduism that spread into Angkor in modern-day Cambodia, and Buddhism that spread into other parts of Southeast Asia, including Borobudur along Java in modern-day Indonesia. Empires collapsed in different regions of the world and in some areas were replaced by new imperial states or political systems. For instance, the Byzantine Empire had kept the Greco-Roman traditions and learning alive through the expansion of their power and territory around the Mediterranean Sea. However, they lost land and influence due in part to peasant revolts from within, and more ominously through the expansion of the Islamic world, especially with the Ottoman Turks. In Western Europe, new political entities emerged after the fall of Rome, leading them into the Middle Ages. The decentralized system of feudalism arose with a social hierarchy that often pitted kings, nobles, vassals, and knights against each other for land, power, and position, with the Roman Catholic Church becoming the most powerful entity in Western Europe. Along with the political and social system of feudalism, the economic system of manorialism was a prime feature of Europe during the Middle Ages. With the onset of the medieval warm period, starting mid-10th century, longer growing seasons led to greater food availability, which in turn led to more population growth. This led to three-field crop rotation that utilized 2/3 of arable farmland as opposed to the old system of only 1/2 availability. The Carolingians established the greatest empire in Europe since ancient Rome, especially under the leadership of Charlemagne, whose empire was larger at that time than Byzantium. After his death, the Carolingian Empire fell apart due to internal squabbling between his heirs, as well as invasions from Vikings, Magyars, and Muslims, with the Holy Roman Empire a loose confederation of hundreds of Germanic states as a remnant. The Great Schism saw the official break between Roman Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy, and soon afterward the realm of Western Christendom engaged in almost 2 centuries of the Crusades, in which they sought to regain the Holy Lands in the Eastern Mediterranean lost to the Islamic world, including Jerusalem and other lands visited by Jesus during his lifetime. Although the Crusades politically just led to a great deal of death and resentment, with little land changing hands, new trade routes opened up, connecting Western Europe with the rest of Eurasia, bringing a vast array of luxury goods to the European elites. This also led to significant technological and cultural transfers. For example, the rise of natural sciences in Western Europe, from the original Greco-Roman ideas developed through rationalism and improved upon by the Islamic empires. Technologies, such as the introduction of gunpowder from China, brought irreparable changes to European cultural and political systems as well. Trade also brought the plague to Western Europe, especially the Black Death during the mid-14th century. Other tumultuous events, such as the 100 Years' War that beset England against France, saw the introduction of the longbow that negated the effectiveness of knights, and cannons that negated the effectiveness of castles and their walls, leading toward an end of chivalry and the Middle Ages. These events and changes ultimately brought Europe, as well as the rest of the world, into an entirely new age.
That is correct.